my name is Fraeya and welcome to my broom closet. Today I want to talk about alternatives to candles, the good old-fashioned ones that you light up and you see so many witches using them all the time. Unfortunately, there are many reasons why you might not be able to burn traditional candles. Perhaps you rent an apartment that doesn't allow you to have open flames or smoke. Perhaps you or family members are asthmatic. Maybe you have pets with sensitive respiratory systems, particularly rodents like hamsters, mice, rats. Cats as well can be affected. Those are some of the mundane reasons why you might not be able to burn candles, but also burning candles can seem a bit witchy and just seems a bit weird and out of place for most broom closet witches growing up in either atheist or religious households. If that is the case for you, please keep watching as I will give some indirect and direct alternatives for candles in the rest of this video. So in order to come up with a list of appropriate substitutes for candles, we must first explore why candles are used in the first place. So of course, hundreds of years ago, when witchcraft first came about, candles were just everyday household items. Nowadays, as technology has progressed, candles appear archaic and there really aren't many mundane reasons to have them around anymore. But the actual purpose of a candle in a spell primarily is to provide a focal point for the energy in the spell to be raised and generated in. This is why it's often a common practice to stare into a flame as you are visualizing for a spell. Secondly, a candle fuels the spell by using up its kind of life force. This energy is all used up when the candle dies out. That is the reason why you commonly let a candle burn all the way down during a spell. So having these two things in mind, focal point and fuel, we can come up with some indirect alternatives for candles. Basically, you can use anything that you can use as an energy source. A good thing that I can think of is actually using flowers. So you could let them sit on your altar until they wilt, i.e. their energy is being used up. They can also be used as a focal point because you could stare at them whilst visualizing your goal and appreciate their beauty and things like that. You could also use a crystal, so you could charge and program a crystal for a particular spell. Then after the spell has manifested, you can cleanse it and recharge it. Basically, when you program this crystal, the crystal will then use its energy to fuel this spell that you're trying to achieve. So to clarify, the idea here is to use anything that will use up energy during a spell. So basically anything that contains a battery will work, like a mobile phone, or just literally anything that contains a battery that is actively consumed during the spell. Okay, so now let's move on to some more direct candle alternatives because, that whole aesthetic of having lit candles is very nice and you might still want that. Indirect candle alternatives they just don't quite have the same energy, but they can provide the same purpose. So a pretty popular one is to use fake or LED candles. These are great because they hold many advantages, like they are really super cheap most of the time. They are easy to obtain. Sometimes you can get them in supermarkets, you can get them cheaply off of Amazon, and you don't have to wait for them to burn down, and they don't spill sticky wax everywhere. There's no smell when you blow them out. Anything like that. You can even get higher end fake ones that are made out of real wax that look much more realistic and witchy, but again, the same benefits there. They are totally safe to burn in an apartment, around pets, and for asthmatic folks. If the worst comes to the worst, Honestly, just use a candle app on your phone. This is something I actually used to use when I first started out witchcraft. There are many basic candle apps that you can get for free, but what I really recommend is getting this app called #selfcare, and this app has a candle that you can stare at. This is what it looks like. Basically, the whole app is disguised as a self-care app, but it has like super witchy vibes, including your own altar that you can set up and even some tarot cards here that you can use. But yeah, you tap on one and you just get some insight for the day. It's basically a self-care app with lots of activities to do that, you know, self-care and make you feel better about yourself. I really love that app and I recommend that as an alternative for candles as well. Finally, I'm going to end off this video with some candle burning tips. These tips are for if you still decide to use real candles. If you want real candles but you can't have those big tapers or the big pillar candles, I really recommend birthday cake candles. These are great because they come in such a large range of colours and you can get them at the supermarket. They are very small and easy to hide. And the best thing about them is that because they are small, they burn really fast. So there is no wastage and you can get a spell done in like 10 minutes. The second tip I have is if you have to put out a candle real fast because someone's gonna come into your room or something like that, but you don't want the smell of the smoke to get everywhere, then I really recommend placing a jar over the candle. So this works best for tea light candles and quite short birthday candles. Basically, this method keeps the smoke in and then it makes the candle safe to conceal under a blanket or a piece of clothing if you really need to quickly cover your altar that you're doing your spell on. An improved version of this jar method, as I call it, is to actually keep the candle itself in the jar and then place the lid over the candle when you want to really quickly put it out and keep the smell of the smoke inside. My next tip is for witches with religious family like Christians, Catholics, whatever, then a good excuse for having a candle is saying that you're burning it to connect to your angels or be closer to God. Often Christians and Catholics will light candles to connect to their angels, and that is not a bad or evil or witchy thing to do. If this is still a bit jarring to your family or whatever because you're suddenly starting this habit when you never used to do it before, then you can always say that you heard it from a friend at school or you read it on the internet while you were researching ways to be closer to your angels or God or whatever. So your family do not need to know the true intentions of burning a candle. You can just say that as an excuse. Finally, a mundane excuse, non-religious excuse for burning candles is to have a ritual bath. You can just say that you want to relax in the bath by candlelight. This is just something you can do to wind down after a stressful day or something like that. I will link some great bath rituals and bath ritual ingredients in the description below so you can find out how to do one. There you go guys, I really hope this video helps. I know a lot of witches have trouble with candles in the broom closet, so I'm really hoping this video will help out a lot of witches. If it helped you out, please give it a thumbs up so I know that it helped you, and if you know other broom closet witches who have the same problems, please share it with them because I want to reach as many broom closet witches as possible. If you need any more information about stuff I've mentioned in this video, or even just broom closet witchcraft in general, then just visit the subreddit r/broomclosetwitch on Reddit. There is a huge wiki on there with lots of information and even a link to a Discord server where you can talk to other witches just like yourself. I hope you enjoyed. Please stay safe and I will see you next time.